Hey everyone, welcome to this live. Today I want to talk about building connections, building uh, relationships. And so you may have heard the term or the phrase called your network determines your net worth. And so I'll say it again, your network determines your net worth. And so what that means is that um, basically birds of a feather flock together. I know y'all heard of that term. So what that means is that basically whoever you're around, the proximity, right, really, it really can determine where you go in life, right? A lot of things, I know this is, I don't know sociology, but the thing is that I do know that if you getting around certain people, you start adapting to that particular culture. And so if you, and sometimes you can stick out, of course, but you kind of adapt to a certain culture. And so um when we go out to other states and other places, what happens is that there's a certain type of culture there. For instance, Florida, right? Miami and Fort Lauderdale, they have like a certain culture there. And so the thing is that the term birds of a feather flock together is that if you want to see a change within your life, a change within how you're living, right? What will help is that not only um yes, you need to change your thinking, but as you change your thinking, it's important to get around the right people that may have a certain type of thinking that you're looking for, right? At first you may feel uncomfortable. At first whenever you enter rooms and conversations may be uncomfortable because it stretches your mind, right? So one of the things that happens whenever you up level your network is that it stretches you, meaning that it expands your mind. And so I don't know if y'all heard that, once your mind is expanded, it can't go back, right? It's like a rubber band, right? Once your mind has been expanded. And so what it does is that it can stretch you, and it can stretch where you currently are to where you need to be. I know when I've worked a while back in oil and gas and corporate, there was a certain culture. And so I had to adapt to that certain culture. There was a certain way that you kind of dress in a certain way. So I don't know if whenever you go to work, there's a certain culture at work that you really have to adapt to. And so one of the things that really helped my husband and I change our net worth was really by changing our network. We did whatever we could to invest to get into rooms. And so what a blessing of that is that when you get into around certain people, what it does is that proximity kind of fuels it is going to fuel you in a certain way. So it might fuel you for your dreams, or it may fuel you to like a certain thing. And so one of the things I know, Laura Langmeyer, the millionaire maker, right? She is noted as the millionaire maker. One of the things that she said that really helped changed that can really help change like your net worth is really changing your environment, changing where you're around. And so um I know y'all may have heard this, but it helps with money mindset is that going to a certain side of town, right? And shopping there and being around the people, because you get to pick up how they speak, you get to pick up how they act. And so with that proximity, and especially if you're keen and really sensitive, right, you'll be able to kind of pick up how they kind of operate, right? You're able to pick up certain habits from them. And so network is definitely important. I'll tell you that is something that really took us from down here to up here, as far as our net worth. And so networking is definitely important. So how do you do that, right? You guys may be asking, okay, what are the steps, right? Well, I would say this is find events. There's always like networking events or some type of events that might expand your thinking. So if it's investing networks, I know MLM companies have people that are headed towards the same goal. No, I'm not an MLM, but I know like we started there, right? And so it really does like help with your mindset, especially people who are wanting to improve their mindset. That's why church is an amazing thing, because people who come there are wanting to grow spiritually. And so when you go to church, you're there with people that want to grow with you spiritually. And so that's what's amazing. um Building just building connections, right? Just building connections is important. The wave of social media is wonderful because that's a way that you can connect, right, without necessarily having to talk on the phone every day, right, if people have time to do that. But that face-to-face connection is everything. And whenever they say your network is equal to your net worth, it talks about enhancing one's value or professional value. So the quality of your network can have a big impact of how far you go, right? And how high you go, just in life in general. And so um, there was one guy, actually, I was in a leadership class a few months ago, and I remember this guy who wanted to be an astronaut, right? And so what he did is that he moved him and his family to where, I think it was like to Houston, to where other astronauts live. He got to hang out with the astronauts. Like it's a crazy thing, right? Like who wants to become an astronaut now? Like I don't know. Like if you do, like put it in a comment. That'd be pretty interesting. I don't know who all, like if there's people who want to aspire to be astronauts. But yeah, but this guy, and of course, like they're like older, but what he did was is he moved to the town to where other astronauts were, and he befriended them. And then next thing you know, he became an astronaut, even though there were odds that were against him. And so the thing is that God is not going to place you in a room, expose you to all these people so that you're not like them, right? You know what I mean? So there's a reason why you may be placed in certain rooms, right? You may be placed in certain rooms and you don't know why. Okay, why I'm in a room full of millionaires, okay? Okay, there goes a billionaire right there. There goes several millionaires. Why am I placed in this room, right? You have to know, okay, God's expanding your mindset to what's to come, right? And so that's what's amazing. That's what's amazing, that you want to take note of like who's around you, right? Who you're around. If it's negativity, you don't want to be around a lot of negativity and people talking just negative, always complaining about their life and how broke and poor they are, right? Because guess what? You're gonna be the next one. You're gonna be like, man, I don't have those problems. And then next thing you know, you're like, man, I'm broke too. Like you'll start adapting to their philosophies. And the thing is that if you want to up level your philosophy, right? Then you got to up level your network. You got to up level around people who want to improve their mindset. So that's super duper important. Like I would say that that's one of the main things that's helped, right? That's one of the main things that's helped. I think I've heard this too, is that environment is stronger than will. So if you're trying to fight against the current, I understand that. Sometimes you have to have a vision in your mind because you can't help with the environment that you're around. But what you can do is the things you can control, right? The blessings of media, of you listening to personal development or things that can help expand your mind, reading books that expand your mind, expand how you think and you believe about money and different things. It can take you to a whole nother place, right? Like reading Rainbow, like butterflies in the sky. And anyways, I can go twice as high, you know. Take a look. It's in a book. Anyways, reading Rainbow. Anyways, I don't know. Maybe that's my plug-in. Y'all can read. But there's some good books to read. Think and Grow Rich. Those are some of the older books, but there's a lot of new books that you can actually read that aren't the weird stuff, right? That aren't like the weird stuff, but it can really help you expand on how to really make money. Trash Man to Cash Man by Myron Golden is a good book, right? It's a real simple read, and it will show you like where you are at, like monetarily wise, and how to grow from where you currently are. I was sitting in first class. Oh, another thing, I didn't even notice it. I don't be putting my business out there. Like my husband, he does, and it's wonderful. I like his posts, like I'm not living that life too. Like, oh my goodness, he's first class. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. But yeah, so but it was wonderful because I get to speak to people that have a mindset. One of the things that he said that his father told him, and he's a baby boomer, so he was like older a younger baby boomer, a younger baby boomer. There we go. He was a younger baby boomer, and one of the things he said was, um, there's a difference between being broke and being poor. There's a difference between being broke and being poor. He was saying that being being broke is just it's reflected into you not having any money, but being poor is a mindset. He said, I will never be poor. I may be broke, but I won't be poor, right? So you have to distinguish the difference of just because your current reality says you don't have any money, right? You're negative, right? It does not mean that you have to take on that mindset. I know it's hard. You're like, okay, this is the reality. But once you start to up level your mindset, you'll start to see your bank account change. You'll start to see your wallet change. You'll start to see things change around you because you you continue to up level like your mindset. So it's a wonderful thing. It was great. He was a big firm believer. He said he made more money in real estate investing than he did on his job, and he did fairly well on his job. I mean, he has a house in Bonita Springs, Florida. He builds houses with his wife. I mean, it's just amazing. Like again, it is just what it does, it expands your mindset. So if you haven't had a chance already, I know one of the things I love to do, like with my husband, is just go places like where they are, right? I remember I was getting a pedicure and I was in Miami like in November, and I met a guy who um, was from Oklahoma as well too, and he was just talking about the restaurants that he owned and apartment complexes and things like that. Again, those things expand your mind. How was I able to get in a conversation like that? Well, that was because I was in a place where those people came, right? And he was just coming to get a simple pedicure, right? And it was just crazy, just the people that you meet. So, um, yeah, my encouragement, right? And in the Bible, you'll see that it says like, hey, don't like be friends with like an angry person or you'll start being angry too. So kind of says that in there, right? You'll start picking up like their same spirit or whatnot. So you really want to really make sure of who's all within your network, and they're not to blame either too. I know Jim Rohn, he says, okay, what if all my negative friends or all my negative family members weren't there, right? What do I need to do? So when you start to change, everything's going to change around you, right? So when you start to change, everything will change around you. So just know that and be encouraged that the change has to start from within. You really have to just pray to God, like, okay, Lord, this is where I am. This is where I want to be. I want to grow in this area. I want to grow spiritually. I want to grow in my finances. I want to grow and be a blessing to others, right? I don't want to live selfishly, right? I don't want to just live to have enough for myself and no more. Like I want to bless like neighborhoods, cities, I, like my plan is just so much and far beyond just me and the family, right? Like there's communities that need to be empowered financially. That's just a big thing, right? That's just a really big thing. So think beyond yourself. One of the things to help get you out of like a funk sometimes is really getting to a place to where you help others, right? Sometimes if you're in a place to where you're like, oh, this is happening. Hey, what's going on, sis? Hey, good to see you. If you're in a place to where you're just like, oh, like I need to get out. Like once you like start praying for someone or if I pray for someone or if I'm blessing someone, right? Like the focus is off on me and it's on to somebody else. And so just know that Like there's just so much more whenever you do start networking. And if you don't know where to start, right? Um, just pray, right? Go to church, right? Go to things like going to church, going to network events, right? I mean, you like me and my husband, something we've had to grow in like networking, and different things like that. You may go to a networking event, may have not said anything to anyone, but guess what? You showed up. And you know what? You got to show up again. And maybe one person may speak to you, may not, so you've got to like there's like a science of getting into an environment. That's just like let me use this for an example, right? That's just like me going to the gym every day, right? Like, and if I don't work out, like if I go to the gym and I'm spending like, if I'm going to the gym and I'm spending 2 hours in the gym, like you can't, like, I'm gonna probably pick up a weight, right? I'm probably gonna pick up a dumbbell or something. I gotta do if I'm spending that much time in the gym. If I'm around other people that are working out, that are focused on their fitness, guess what? Then that means if I go there enough, I'm going to start, okay, that's how you use that machine. Okay, let me go over there and use that machine. Okay, there's a personal trainer. Okay, let me go and go speak, to that personal trainer, right? There's just so many things of being in the right environment. And I just had to just use the gym for an example because you're not going to go for the gym every day for a month and tell me that you won't start working out. Like you just can't tell me that that's not going to happen, right? Unless you work there. I don't know, but it's just not going to happen. So um, that's why I say your environment, getting in the right rooms, wherever you are at, building the right relationships are gonna help, right? They're gonna help. So where to start? Show up and keep showing up. So, anyways, gotta go out of town. It's a blessing. So I hope y'all have an amazing, amazing, amazing night. God bless y'all.